Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna talk about trends I notice in K-pop. Some are pet peeves or things I like, and just some things I notice in general about the K-pop industry. So without further ado, let's get started. 1. The member who rarely dyes their hair. You know that feeling when you first get into K-pop, and since you don't know anyone's names you decide to look at their hair colors to identify each member. I started to notice I would recognize one member first before all the others. And funny enough it happens to be the same member because why? They literally never change their hair color. Some examples. Two. Most popular members are usually foreign. In a way this could be debatable, but this is just something I couldn't help but notice. For example, Lisa, Chi, Yuki, Lucas could arguably be seen as the most popular member of each of their groups. But then again, ethnicity might not be a factor in this case. 3. Same MV places. I guess you can say this is something you could also see in mainstream music videos, but since mainstream music is more worldwide and not confined in a small country that only speaks one language, the likelihood of filming music videos in one specific spot is unlikely. However, since K-pop is not fully mainstream, and for budgeting reasons, companies will probably stay in Korea to film a music video, but since Korea isn't exactly the biggest country in the world, it's likely that some filming areas are bound to overlap. 4. Similar titled songs. Again, this could be said about mainstream media, but I'm guessing the reason for many duplicated song titles could be simply because the fact that they have a small English vocabulary, but I'm not entirely sure. Five. Double standards. I'm pretty sure there have been videos made about this already, but I wanted to also talk about it. As we know, some idols could be treated differently by the same group of people for unknown reasons. I've noticed this, and it could be just me, but idols who usually attract the most hate are female idols. Maybe it's because the K-pop fandom in general has more of female population, but I find it odd that under certain circumstances the females get way more attacked than the males. Sometimes I wonder if it would be any different if the majority of K-pop fans were male. We never know. 6. Doing girl crush out of nowhere. I don't know why, but seeing groups that normally have their own unique style suddenly do something out of the norm like girl crush. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. It sometimes just catches me off guard. Like I'll be hyped and excited for a new comeback just to see a whole nother side of the group, and sometimes it may or may not suit the group or members very well, but I guess a switch up is good sometimes. 7. Excessive dyed hair. Now I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite for this since I said that's how I used to identify members back when I was new, but sometimes the company just targets one member specifically for every comeback. Like sis. If we keep this up they eventually gonna end up bald with all this dye y'all keep giving them every few months. 8. Bucket hats. I don't even know. All I'm gonna say is, I don't like them. Period. We can't see their hair and it covers like half of their face. Like, how is it supposed to be your era when you wear something that is literally hiding your face? 9. Favoritism within companies. Okay, I'm gonna keep this one short so I don't get flamed by the solo stans. It's very apparent that there are favorites in K-pop, and to those of you who say it's not real and turn a blind eye to yourself, stop it. I know some of y'all are scared to know your faves are given more opportunities than the rest of the members, but it's real and it's not gonna go away, okay? It's out of our hands and it's no one's fault but the company's. So for the people who feel personally attacked when I say your fave is privileged, it's probably true. 10. using storylines to draw more attention. I don't usually see this in Western music, so I thought about talking about it with K-pop because it's heavily used here, whether it be just a basic storyline to connect all the music videos, or whatever. It's cute and sometimes it's really fun to predict what comes next. It's kinda like waiting for a sequel of a movie to come out. 11. Colorful equals low budget. Now please don't flame me for this if I'm wrong. This is 100% just an assumption. I feel like whenever I see a music video with tons of colored sets, I think the company either skimped out with the budget, or it's not a serious title track but some fan service or something. 12. Covered up tattoos. I personally don't get it. If have M you have M, but to put bandages over them when you perform? Like why? I get Korea has its beauty standards, but not the tattoos. They're one to many reasons why people get tattoos. Either it be for themselves, or to show off to other, or just because they thought it looked cool. But when music shows make idols cover them up, it's like, for what though? 13. Almost to no facial hair on idols. You ever notice that? How almost no idols have facial hair. Now I know lots of idols are still young, I wasn't born yesterday, but even the older idols, they rarely have any facial hair. I sometimes wonder if they themselves just choose to shave it, or it's company's orders. I don't know. Kinda weird. 14. Fans are opposed of idols dating. So this is the juicy meat I mainly wanted to talk about. I made a whole video about my opinions on idols dating but it was scrapped because it was getting too long. I basically said how it's really none of the fans' business what idols do with their lives. I don't care if you idolize them and think about them 24/7. Who are you to say what and what the idol can or cannot do? That's like taking human rights, which just doesn't sit well with me at all. So to the 10-year-old K-poppies, turn around, go finish your homework, and don't worry about what they do off camera. 15. Excessive hate from fandoms. Now, the reason why I say this is a trend, is because one thing, this is K-pop. We as a community can cancel whoever we want, which is nice and all for the people who deserve it, but I'm talking about little things. Things that are taken out of context and blown out of proportion. Someone will say something and have it go viral until whoever the idol or group is cancelled, which is just toxic in my opinion. Yes, there are haters in Western music, but in K-pop for whatever reason it's 10 times worse. 16. Reused stage outfits. This one isn't a rant or anything. I just notice sometimes that there are reused clothes from idol to idol. It really isn't a big deal, but if I were to be given something some other idol wore already I wouldn't be very pleased. Because then fans are just gonna say, hasn't someone wore that already? And focus on trying to figure out who wore it before you instead of admiring the outfit on you. 17. Bigger groups seem to have harder dance. This is also an assumption. It could or could not be true. I don't really know how I would gather evidence for that. Maybe it's because there are more members it seems to be a lot more difficult. For example, having a group of 4 members is way easier to maneuver around than say 12 people. Less likely to bump into one another or get lost in a choreography. 18. Rebranding the same style of music. I'm not saying any names, but a company or some companies really love to make the same songs over and over again, don't they? But whatever, if that's what they wanna do then go for it. I'm not gonna say my opinion on it because clearly it won't change anything. 19. People hate on a group because of their fandom. I remember trying to get a non-K-pop fan into a specific group, and they replied with, "What? No way. Are you crazy? Their fandom is just way too toxic and obnoxious." I kinda felt bad for the group in that moment because fandom's behavior reflects onto the group itself. You should never judge a group just based on how their fandoms act. They just lost a possible fan if it weren't for the immature behavior of the fandom. You'll complain and cry about locals not respecting K-pop, and choose to not listen to it, but as you're complaining about that, you'll drag an idol for the littlest thing. It really doesn't add up. Well anyways, that's all I have for today. Please note that all of what I said are just assumptions and none of this is actually factual. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and see my point of view on the K-pop industry. Thank you for watching and I'll see you loves next time. Bye bye.